Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Planning and Development Committee meeting. It's Monday, June 25th, and it's about 7:34. We have a quorum. The first item on our agenda is approval of the regular meeting minutes of May 29th. Is there a motion to approve?
Move. Second.
Any additions, corrections? Yes.
Yes,
Alderman Mahone.
if it could be shown that I was present at the meeting,
Okay.
since I seem to be quoted in the minutes.
Okay. With that change, any other changes? Okay, then all those in favor of the minutes as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okey doke. First item on our agenda is P1, granting vacation rental license for 2001 Orrington. City staff recommends approval of a vacation rental license for the property. Meets all of the standards and procedures for license approval and was held in committee on May 29th. And that is on for action tonight. I'm actually going to move that we table this, but first I want to hear from, table it to a date certain, but first I want to hear from the folks that have signed up to speak on this, and it's Rob Biesenbach and Mary Bishop. So if you guys could come up. Rob.
Hi, yes, I'm Rob Biesenbach. I live two doors up, or two houses up at 2011 Orrington with my wife and kids. And we met Arena the other day, sat down and talked, and she seems like a good person of goodwill, and we very much appreciate everything they've done to fix up what was an eyesore. But nevertheless, I'll express the same concerns to the committee that I expressed to you, is that the 2000 block of Orrington is very much an endangered block, I think, when it comes to residential character. To the immediate east, we've got the university bearing down on us. The block immediately south is half owned by the university. Foster Avenue out to the west, of course, as we know, has a lot of student rentals. And even on the block, right across the street, we've got two former residents that for some time have been used for institutional purposes, including Chabad House, which is planning very soon a major multi-year renovation and possible expansion of their use. So we are very concerned about anything happening in the community that might affect the residential character of an R1 zone neighborhood, the noise, disruption, safety, and all of those other things. So we would ask, and I wrote this out, some of the things that we would want to ensure, some of the things that have been in the application is that there would be a maximum of 2 rooms rented at one time, so that doesn't get out of hand. And we want to ensure that the Kettersons are indeed living in the home. That was part of the application. And I don't know what the renewal period for these applications are, but it would be, if it was an every other year basis or an annual basis, that would give the neighborhood a chance to weigh in for approval if concerns arose. And, you know, generally we're concerned not just about this one property, but about the slippery slope and what's going on in the neighborhood. And what are the standards for allowing a B&B in the neighborhood? Could there be another one on the block, or 2, or 10? I don't know. I don't know how all those things are judged. So any clarity we can get into the process would be really appreciated. Thank you all for holding this. I know the notice didn't come to me because it went to the former residents, but I'm glad we were able to have a voice on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Mary?
Thanks, Judy. Thank you, everyone, for staying to hear this issue. It's probably consistent. I imagine it's come up before, and it will come up again as Evanston, like many other communities around the country, starts to wrestle with pros and cons of home-run B&Bs. I agree 100% with everything that Rob said, and in terms of slippery slope, I would simply add that we have a fair share of single-person large houses all up and down Orrington. We have just a couple, no children. We have many other instances, and a hungry university that's always looking for space. The hotels get jammed around any of these big university events, and I believe that a B&B, I believe, should they end up doing it, it will be successful because there's such a crying need for space. But that does not take into account the real needs of the neighborhood. I live directly across from 2001, and I've lived there for 31 years. So I've seen a lot of change, most of it good, but also a lot of the implications of traffic. The university now also rents out its dormitories to Child Genius programs. It's amazing how many child geniuses live in this land, and they all seem to drive up in Rolls Royces. But they start the day school closes. Those kids show up, and that is a big parade of cars coming and going, dropping them off, picking them up. So it's a true issue. I also want to talk about, just for a few seconds really, the implications for Evanston looking forward. I think right now, if there isn't a committee, subcommittee dealing with the issues of B&Bs in the community, I think we should start it. I think we need careful tracking of complaints that come in. The websites that advertise these homes, Airbnb, and there's two other lesser known but also populated, they run so-called complaint sites, but frankly, they do nothing about it. Neighbors can write in screaming, I'm told, and nothing is addressed. The license or the listing is not revoked from that lister as a consequence. Right now, in 5 minutes online, I found a list of communities that are having serious problems with home-based B&Bs and are seriously questioning, beginning to legislate them a lot more firmly. Venice Beach, San Francisco, New Orleans, Barcelona, there's a worldwide one. Crested Butte, Colorado, I think that was even in the Wall Street Journal this week, the problems they've had. Daytona Beach, Asheville, North Carolina, San Diego, Boulder, Colorado, Denver, Colorado. Very serious concerns that I think a committee placed on this could monitor even what's going on nationwide. I feel prescient enough about it to say that I think within 5 years, a mayoral candidate will be running based partly on a platform of legislating B&Bs. I think that's a real threat with an aging population and no one to come and buy these big houses. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. So I'm going to move that we table this to the next P&D meeting. A couple of things have come to light that I was not aware of. The property owners actually don't live together in the house. They live in two separate locations. I have concerns about whether the house is going to be always owner-occupied and the nature of if there is a home-based business being run out of the house. So I think we just need that information before we move forward. I spoke to everybody in the hallway. Everyone's aware that we're going to be doing this. And my hope also is that all the neighbors can get together and we can all talk this through before the next meeting. So it'll be at the next, so my motion will be to table this until the next meeting of P&D. And I don't know what date that is. Johanna, do you have? July 9th. And for that, I not only need a second, but we need to vote on that and have a majority vote. So could I have a second,
Did the
please?
applicants want to speak at all? or-
Did you want to speak, Arena? Did you? Sure. Okay, sure. Absolutely. John, did you?
How would this meeting be organized that you proposed? Be out of your office or spontaneous?
I don't have an office. I'd be happy to come over to anyone's house and we can get together and do that. Yes, please come up. And Irina, if you could just state your name.
My name is Irina, and
Your last
I'm,
name too, please. Yeah.
Irina Vojanovic-Carson, and just what I wanted to say that most of the neighbors. What is the quote that we have to have for the approval? Because most of the neighbors that I was talking to, and we do have a letter of support for some of the neighbors. Then, like, what is needed actually from us?
I think staff will be contacting you with just some questions to discuss, and we'll have the neighborhood meeting as well. So we'll do all of those things
And
before.
what does it mean, like a neighborhood meeting?
Well, obviously there are neighbors that have questions, and I myself obviously misunderstood the nature of the of the house itself. So we need to just make sure that that's all straightened out. Mr. Biesenbach brought up some points that he would like to have included in the agreement. Well, those will be part of the discussion as well.
Okay,
So-
and another thing is that what I'm going to say, if people are so much against Airbnb, which I'm saying, even if you're renting something through Airbnb, you have a really choice to have a guest that are coming to your house. Most of the people that are coming as a guest, that basically we prefer, this is for short rental from Northwestern University. And sometimes you have these sabbatical people that are coming for sabbatical and sometimes just need a short rental places. And I'm saying it would not be all the time like during the year, it's usually during the summer.
Well, and that's another thing that staff needs to better understand is exactly what, time are you looking for rentals, whether it's 30 days or some might be longer than 30 days. We
Less
just
than
need-
30, short rental,
Okay.
as far as I understood, is like up to 30 days, not more.
Okay.
And I'm saying I just wanted to make sure, and another things that I'm saying, like we moved to this house and bought this house and just and did a beautiful job.
Yes.
I really don't want to have a guest and have someone who is going to ruin the place that we really put, me as an artist, put a lots of effort to make this really, really beautiful.
Right, and I think the
Yes.
neighbors have expressed to you their appreciation for all the work you've done. I mean, it's wonderful.
I'm
And
saying that this is the last thing that I would like to bring myself and even neighbors in any kind of jeopardy.
yeah, no, I fully understand. We'll get to yes here. It's part of the conversation. Could I have a second for my motion? Okay, and then we all need to vote. All those in favor of tabling until the next meeting of P&D, please say aye.
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Okay, so we'll move to the next meeting. Thank you all. The next item for consideration is Resolution 34R18, approving a plat of re-subdivision for 2020 Greenwood Street. City staff recommended adoption, approving subdivision of the property. The applicant, Nikita Turk, co-manager of Greenwood Storage, is proposing to re-subdivide the property into 2 lots. The storage facility will remain. The new lot will be created at the west end of the property. The proposed lots will exceed minimum lot dimension requirements for the district, and that's on for action. And, I'm sorry? Hi, Alderman Braithwaite.
Good evening, Alderman Fisk, members of the P&D Committee. I thought this was just going to be held, so at my request, I'm asking that this item be held over to the next City Council meeting until our staff has had an opportunity to meet with the owner of the parcel and the 2 property owners that are adjacent to the location.
Okay. Will somebody make the motion to hold? Held here, right?
Here
Held-
in the committee.
Yeah, here.
Pardon me.
Okay. So will somebody make the motion to hold? Is there a-
Second.
Okay. It's held.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Braithwaite. Well, that ends our discussion for tonight. So that's pretty quick. Yes, Sue. Sue wanted to speak with us. Sue Lowak is here tonight. Speaking on a non-agenda item.
Correct. Yes. So I'll make this brief. Good evening, everybody. I'm Sue Lolbach. I'm with Connections for the Homeless and Joining Forces for Affordable Housing. Since October 30th, when you had the first meeting on affordable housing, there has been a lot of activity and a lot of stuff sort of put into this affordable housing pot. But the members of Joining Forces are a little bit concerned that the pot is a little bit on the back burner. And just wanted to raise here tonight, I did hear tonight from Alderman Wilson that the IHO subcommittee will be meeting towards the end of July. So we're encouraged by that. We know that several items are being held here in P&D. ADUs, I don't know if there was going to be additional discussion on how to make them affordable, but I do hope that that's on the list. I know that the discussion of small lots was referred to P&D, 3 unrelated was referred to P&D, and impact fees, I believe, was put on hold sort of indefinitely. But we would very much like to see sort of what's going to happen with those particular items. I know there was some concern about what was going to happen with the housing in the area given the change to Northwestern's policy. And so sort of related to that, I would imagine staff is thinking about this, but we're very concerned about how that impact on the community is going to be measured and how at the end of this first year we'll even know what the impact is. And so joining forces is hoping that's something that will be looked at. I think one other thing, we know that staff has provided an initial needs assessment, sort of a summary of what the affordable housing need is. We're hoping that that will be shared and discussed, preferably before the next meeting on affordable housing, which I believe, I haven't seen it on the calendar yet, but will be around the end of July. While there's been lots of activity, we're not seeing that most of these efforts right now are ones that are going to result in new units of housing, other than perhaps the inclusionary housing ordinance. And so we're still encouraging the city to move forward with a comprehensive affordable housing plan that has some very specific goals about how we're going to be increasing the affordability. So basically, I'm here tonight just to say, please don't let this stay on the back burner. There are people who are suffering because of the lack of affordable housing. I think you guys have made some really good progress, but I think there's a long way to go. So we'd like to see some additional discussion and action. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. All right, that completes our agenda for tonight. Any communications, Johanna? Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn? Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, City Council will begin in 10 minutes at 8 p.m. Thank you all for coming.